Tuitt IV, Commander, 3rd United States Infantry Regiment, the Old Guard.
Staff, halt! Fox to staff! Staff, right, base. Staff, halt! Halt! Cross center, cross! Officers! Cross center! Cross! Guns! Ready! Front! Officers! Ready! Front! Guns! Right shoulder! On! One! Carry! One! Guns! Ready! Cut!
Don't get out of this bubble. But we're just planting right here. It's your cool camera, so we're not going in the buffer yet. So just watch over here. Y'all get tight. We're not going in the buffer just yet. Y'all get tight. You won't need your sticks in the buffer.
Audio there. Oh. No, I'm looking for my producer. Yeah. Oh, you're dragging. You know where our producer is, Steve?
I've not seen her.
That's great.
Okay.
I'm good. There's a point where I'm going to turn and step in. Okay. Yo, excuse me, bro. I need to shoot this one. That's the point. So you guys need to be tight.
Yeah, I gotta get out of your way, right?
You're fine. As long as you don't put that boom up.
No, I'm not. I hope I'm not putting it up. I'm planning on it.
Where is it? Who's our producer? Yeah. Is she here? Yeah, please. I mean, what the heck?
You have the number of the booth?
I don't know. You know, I had
Ceremonial. Back.
Okay, bro. When they do that, I'm gonna turn that way. First minutes. She's right here. What the hell? I ain't touching this. I don't think. Yeah. No, okay, I see it. Are we in the right place?
Yeah.
I was waiting for you.
Oh, yeah, because they put me over there with the prints of the editorial people. Do you need me for anything, or?
No, I was just making sure we're in the right place.
Oh, yes, you are. But they have me with the editorial people because that's where the briefing is and stuff. And Sean's up, right? Yeah.
So I'm gonna turn when they do the salutes and see if you head on, and I'll shoot that.
Okay.
Then they're gonna take us on the scene from the buffer.
Yeah, they're going to get to that, right?
Yeah, but it's wet. I'm saying I'm trying to do the best I can. I'm not letting it go wet. I'm surprised they didn't put a tent over this shit. Milley better keep it short. Put a compensation to the left. I give you a shot. How's this? Excuse me. Can you not place that here, please? They're literally on a white chair while it's raining. Jesus.
First rule, tell your rookie to wear a raincoat. Protect his gear. Protect his gear. Oh, he does have that.
He should have cover.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of the official party and remain standing as honors are rendered and for the invocation given by Chaplain Captain Wayne McRae. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome General Mark A. Milley, incoming chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. accompanied by General Joseph F. Dunford Jr., 19th Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. And the host for today's ceremony, the Honorable Mark T. Esper, 27th Secretary of Defense. Ladies and gentlemen, the Vice President of the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, Chaplain McRae.
Please bow your heads with me as we consider these words of Scripture. The Lord gives wisdom. From his mouth come knowledge and understanding. He holds success in store for the upright. He is a shield to those whose walk is blameless, for he guards the course of the just and protects the way of his faithful ones. Eternal Father, we stand here today arrayed on this field because of wisdom, that gift you impart to those who seek and cherish it. We offer you our gratitude for the leadership, strength, and character of General Dunford, who has sought after and pursued wisdom in his faithful service to our military, our president, and our nation. We give you thanks for your sustaining and strengthening of him throughout his service. May your hand of blessing rest upon General and Mrs. Dunford in the many years yet ahead of them. And now, Lord God, as we welcome General Milley as the 20th Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, we humbly ask that you impart this same gift of wisdom, given in abundance, and added to the years of shaping and refining that you have performed in preparation for this time of unique service. We humbly ask your blessings upon this ceremony, upon our military, and upon our great nation. Amen.
Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the advancing of the colors and remain standing for the playing of the United States National Anthem.
Colors! Forward! March!
Sir, the colors are present.
Present! March! Staff! Present! March!
Please be seated.
Staff! Order! Order! Ceremonial! At ease! Staff! Ceremonial! At ease!
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, the 19th Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dunford, will swear in General Milley as the 20th Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Joining the generals on the field is Mrs. Holly Ann Milley.
Okay, you ready? Yep. I state your name.
I, Mark Alexander Milley,
Having been appointed the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff,
having been appointed the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely,
that I take this obligation freely
without mental reservation
without mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the office upon which I'm about to enter.
of the office upon which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Chairman.
Thank you, Judge.
I will be your biggest fan.
You
I got in the way.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the posting of the colors.
Post the colors! Staff, right! Right!
Please be seated.
Staff, left! Right! Ready! Cut! Ceremonial! Back! East! Cut! Stand there! East! Staff, ceremonial! That's east!
Ladies and gentlemen, General Mark A. Milley, 20th Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff.
Mr. President, Mr. Vice President, Secretary Esper, distinguished guests, family, and friends, good morning, and thank you all for being here today and for your unwavering support to our men and women in uniform, and we are all deeply humbled by your presence. Thank you, Mr. President, for the trust and confidence that you have placed in me to become the next chairman of the Joint Chiefs, and for your personal leadership and commitment to our uniformed men and women. You can rest assured that I will always provide you informed, candid, impartial military advice to you, the Secretary of Defense, the National Security Council, and to the Congress. Vice President Pence and Secretary Esper, thank you also for your leadership and continued support to our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen. Men and women like those that stand before you on the field today, they are remarkable and represent almost 3 million men and women in the United States Armed Forces. America's uniformed sons and daughters who stand watch, 24/7, in the air, on the land, at sea, in space, and cyberspace, defending our nation and protecting the values bestowed upon us in our sacred Constitution. We are deployed on freedom's frontier in over 160 countries around the world today, many in harm's way. So today, we ask that all of you keep them and their families in your thoughts and prayers. And over the last 4 years, leading those great troops of the Joint Force has been General Joe Dunford and his great wife, Ellen. The Dunfords are an example for all of us to follow, and I know that I have big shoes to fill. I have known Joe Dunford throughout my career, served with him in combat, and I consider him a close personal friend. A friendship forged with the unbreakable bonds of combat that only shared sacrifice can produce. It is truly an honor to follow General Dunford and become the next in a long line of distinguished chairmen, leaders like Powell, Shelton, Myers, Pace, Mullen, and Dempsey. I intend to use their example of professionalism and steady leadership as a model in the years to come. And I look forward to serving with my fellow Joint Chiefs, combatant commanders, and other senior leaders across the government as we work together to address the national security issues of today. I see in the audience today also many chiefs of defense from around the world. Your presence here today demonstrates the importance of our shared security interests and common values. As chairman, I look forward to working with all of you to ensure our collective security. And most importantly, I'm eternally grateful for my family. My parents were part of the greatest generation and proudly served in World War II. My mother in the Navy at a hospital on the West Coast, while my father was with the 4th Marine Division, making the assault landings at Kwajalein, Saipan, Tinian, and Iwo Jima. Although they have both passed on, I carry their example of integrity and selfless service as an inspiration on a daily basis. And I thank my brother and sister and many relatives from the Holy Land of Boston for being here today. And I thank also my classmates from high school and college and our great Princeton hockey team who barely won a game. Each of you are an inspiration to me, and I thank you for your continued support, which is very humbling. I am incredibly grateful, most of all, to my wife, Holly Ann, for her love, support, and inspiration during 35 years of marriage. She, along with our children, Mary and Peter, like so many of our great military families, have sacrificed so much for our nation. Through multiple moves, schools, combat tours, our families sacrifice more than most people will ever know. And our children pay the biggest bill of all. Each of you, Holly Ann, Mary, and Peter, are the rock upon which I draw strength during the inevitable dark moments ahead of military service. With the complex challenges of the international environment, the United States Armed Forces stand ready. We stand ready to keep the peace, or if necessary, win the war. We are the best equipped, best trained, best led military in human history. And our adversaries should know never to underestimate our skill, our capability, and our combat power. And we will remain the world's premier fighting force, respected by our friends and feared by our adversaries. We will do this by emphasizing readiness and the modernization of the Joint Force, all while providing unwavering support and care and leadership to our troops and their families. At the end of this ceremony, you will hear Army Captain Louis Avila sing a tribute to America. Captain Avila was seriously wounded in action, and today represents all of the wounded warriors and killed in action of our military. Both our friends and enemies alike should know that we who wear the uniform of the United States of America, the cloth of our nation, we are all Captain Avilas, and we are all willing to lay it on the line every day to risk grievous injury or death to preserve this experiment in liberty that we call America and pass it on to the next generation. Thank you, and may God bless the men and women in uniform, and may God bless the United States of America.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Mark T. Esper, 27th Secretary of Defense.
Good morning, everyone. President Trump, Vice President Pence, members of Congress, and distinguished guests, thank you for joining us here today. On behalf of the Department of Defense, welcome to Summerall Field on Joint Base Myer-Henderson Hall. Since its establishment in 1863, this historic base overlooking our nation's capital has housed American troops from the Civil War to present day. To all the soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen on the parade field, you represent the fighting spirit of our United States military that has sustained our nation's security and prosperity throughout our history. Thanks for being here today, and as always, you look fantastic. I want to start by acknowledging General Joe Dunford's incredible career of distinguished service to the nation. For over 4 decades, he has led troops in war and peace through some of the most challenging missions confronted by our military. He excelled at every level of command, and as the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, he reoriented the Joint Force to prepare for this new era of great power competition that is now upon us. I've had the opportunity to get to know him and his wife Ellen over the past 2 years, and had the exceptional privilege of working very closely with him over the past 2 months. The Department of Defense has benefited greatly from General Dunford's dedication to our national security and his care for the well-being of our service members. He will leave behind a legacy of steady leadership, solid judgment, and sincere humility that will remain with us and inspire us long after he departs. As he and Ellen transition to the next phase of their lives in Massachusetts, they will surely be missed. General Dunford, on behalf of the entire Department of Defense, thank you once again for all that you've done to protect and defend this great nation. We are very fortunate to have another incredible leader, General Mark Milley, assume duties as the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. When I was Secretary of the Army, I had the great pleasure of working alongside General Milley for almost 2 years, and I know well the incredible talent and energy and dedication he brings to this position. During his time as Chief of Staff, he was instrumental in helping to rebuild the Army's readiness, which suffered from years of insufficient defense budgets. At the same time, he advanced the Army's ability to prepare for future warfare by standing up Army Futures Command, the largest organizational change within the service in 45 years. The President could not have selected a more competent advisor or a more capable soldier to help prepare our military for the challenges of the future. General Milley, congratulations to you and your wife Holly Ann as you take on this awesome responsibility. I have no doubt that you will continue to lead our military to greatness. Today, all throughout the world, the United States Armed Forces are postured to deter aggression and to protect our people and our interests. Accomplishing all that our nation demands of us would not be possible without the support of the American people, the Congress, and the backing of an administration that places the defense of our country at the top of its priorities. The Department of Defense has made tremendous gains in recent years thanks to President Trump, and our strength will continue to grow under his leadership. Preserving the military might that makes us the greatest fighting force in the world requires strong, steady investments in defense. The President has delivered the defense budgets needed to rebuild our readiness. Maintaining stability around the world requires our allies and partners to contribute more to security. Under President Trump's leadership, they are now making significant increases in defense spending. And preparing for future conflicts requires us to be ready to fight in all warfighting domains. President Trump has given us the authorities needed to effectively operate in cyberspace and is positioning us to defend our interests in outer space as well. I want to thank you, Mr. President, for your unwavering commitment to armed forces, to our service members and their families, and to a strong national defense. Thank you. As we transition today from one exceptional chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff to another, what remains constant is the willingness of our men and women in uniform to sacrifice for the good of our country. Vice President Pence, the son of a soldier and the father of a Marine, understands these sacrifices well. He is a steadfast supporter of our military and a strong advocate for the well-being of our service members and their families. As we prepare for the many challenges that lie ahead, it is this support from across a grateful nation that will sustain the readiness and fighting spirit of our troops. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming a tremendous leader and a great friend of the armed forces, the Vice President of the United States, Mike Pence.
Mr. President, Secretary Esper, Secretary Pompeo, members of the Cabinet, General Dunford, members of Congress, distinguished guests, and especially the men and women of the Armed Forces of the United States. It's an honor to be here at America's Post, the home of the oldest active duty infantry unit in the Army, the Old Guard, Joint Base Myer-Henderson Hall, as we install the 20th Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Mark A. Milley. Today, as we mark the beginning of General Milley's tenure as Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, we do well to pay a debt of gratitude to a man who has served this nation with distinction for now 42 years. He led troops in battle during Operation Iraqi Freedom. He served as Commandant of the Marine Corps. And over the past 5 years, I can personally attest, during our tenure, I have witnessed his strong leadership and sound counsel at the highest levels of our military and our government. Today, we pay a debt of gratitude to General Joseph F. Dunford. Thank you for your service. Thank you for being always faithful. And to General Milley, the new Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. I know I speak on behalf of your Commander-in-Chief and a grateful nation when I say to you and to your family, thank you for answering the call to serve once again. Over your nearly 40-year career, you've served with courage and distinction. As a Green Beret, you've led troops in combat in Iraq and Afghanistan. You served as the 39th Chief of Staff of the Army. And as your tenure begins, General Milley, let me assure you, you have the confidence of your Commander-in-Chief, and you are carried with the confidence and the prayers of the American people. Thank you for your leadership and service. And General Milley, as your tenure as chairman begins, I know that you'll be pleased to know that thanks to the leadership of President Donald Trump, you are inheriting the best equipped, best supplied, and best trained military in the history of the world. The United States military is the greatest force for good the world has ever known. And since the first day of this administration, President Trump has taken decisive action to make the strongest military in the history of this planet stronger still. After years of budget cuts, President Trump fought for and secured the largest investment in our national defense in more than a generation, including the largest pay raise for our troops in more than a decade. And at the President's direction, we produced a national security strategy that puts America first, initiated the modernization of our nuclear arsenal. Our NATO allies are contributing more to our common defense than ever before, and with the strong support of leaders in Congress, we're well on our way at the President's direction to establishing the 6th branch of our armed forces. The United States Space Force will soon be a reality. And finally, Chairman Milley, as you know, this summer, thanks to the President's strong leadership, Congress approved a budget deal that preserves the historic investments we've made in our national defense, provides for our veterans, and ends the defense sequester once and for all. The American people know that President Donald Trump has no higher priority than safety and security of this nation. And today, by providing renewed leadership to the Joint Chiefs in General Mark Milley, President Trump is proving once again that as Commander-in-Chief, he will provide for the common defense with unyielding strength. And as he said, we will defend our country, we will defend our people. It is my great honor to be with all of you, and most especially with all of those who wear the uniform of our armed forces gathered here today, and all who are gathered here who have worn the uniform of the United States. And on this momentous occasion of the transfer of responsibility to the 20th Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, it is my high honor and distinct privilege to introduce your Commander-in-Chief and a great champion of all the men and women of the armed forces of the United States, past, present, and future, the 45th President of the United States, President Donald Trump.
Thank you very much, Mike. And I have to start off by saying that all of my life I've heard that if it rains on a big occasion, it brings luck. So, Mark, I think you're going to be the luckiest general in history. I want to thank everybody for being here, Vice President Pence, and thank you all for the incredible service members. We have the finest military anywhere in the world. The American military is the greatest fighting force without question in the history of the world, and today it's stronger than it's ever been by a large factor. No enemy on earth can match the awesome might of the American Army, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard, and the United States Marines. We're gathered today for a truly historic occasion. We're here to welcome our outstanding new chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Mark Milley. Mark, I want to congratulate you. You're my friend, you're my advisor, and you deserve this position. I never had a doubt. Congratulations. I also want to express our profound gratitude to Mark's wife, Holly Ann, and his children, Mary and Peter, for their selfless devotion to our country. The strength of our military is truly found in the love and support of our military families. So important. Those families are so important. We're especially honored to be joined by some of America's Gold Star families. Your treasured loved ones made the supreme sacrifice for our nation. They're looking down on you right now. You look up in the sky, they're looking down on you. Our debt to you is infinite and eternal. America will hold you in its heart forever, and we will never forget. We're also grateful to the many veterans here today. To our heroic wounded warriors in attendance, our nation will always remember what you did for the cause of freedom. Joining us as well are Secretary Mark Esper. Thank you, Mark. Great job you're doing. Secretary Mike Pompeo. Mike, thank you very much. EPA Administrator Andrew Wheeler. Thank you, Andrew. Many of our great secretaries and my cabinet and service chiefs. I know we have a couple of wonderful representatives. I think you have many, so I'll get myself in trouble. But I see John Carter and I see Brad Wenstrup. Thank you very much for being here, fellas. Thank you very much. And I see a senator that's so supportive of our military and this administration, Senator Dan Sullivan. Thank you, Dan, of Alaska. Done a great job. As we prepare to welcome a new chairman, we must first pay tribute to one of America's most admired and beloved military leaders, outgoing Chairman Joseph Dunford. here today with his wonderful wife, Ellen. Joe hails from just outside Boston. His father was a Marine, and a tough one, who landed on Incheon in Korea and fought at the Chosun Reservoir. So Joe knew which branch he was destined to join. He didn't have too much of a decision to make, I think. What do you think about that? Not a big decision? No. In 1977, he was commissioned into the U.S. Marine Corps. In 2003, Joe commanded some of the first American troops in Operation Iraqi Freedom and very, very successfully commanded them. For his exceptional bravery, he received the Legion of Merit with combat valor. As a general, Joe was promoted so quickly that he was nominated for his 3rd star before he had formally received his 2nd. How do you do that? How do you do that, Joe? In 2013, he was named International Security Assistance Force Commander in Afghanistan, and he was instrumental in strengthening Afghan security forces to share more of the burden. And today, they are indeed sharing much more of the burden. In 2014, Joe became Commandant of the Marine Corps, and the next year he was named Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. And in that role, Joe published the first joint military net assessment in 20 years. And we have a lot of the ideas that we've brought forward, and you know, we've spent $2.5 trillion since I'm president. $2.5 trillion. Far more than this country has ever even thought about spending, but we had to have a modern, great military with the most magnificent and the finest machinery, planes, boats, ships, weapons of all kinds. We've never had anything like you have today. When I took over, we were a very depleted military, and today we're at a level that we have never even come close to. Joe solidified America's competitive advantage through global integration of the joint force. He also provided critical leadership during the complete rebuilding of our military. And he helped me in another way, something that probably only Joe and Ellen really know. Because in, I would say, 2015, I sat with Joe at a dinner. And believe it or not, I was getting a big award from the Marines. And Joe was presenting the awards, and I had no even thought of running for president. And I said to my wife and family, look at that guy. He's a great-looking guy, isn't he? He's like central casting. He's like right out of Hollywood. But he made the great presentation that night, and I got to talk to him because I sat with him and Ellen and his son, Patrick. And I was asking Joe lots of questions about the military. He said, you really enjoy this, don't you? I said, well, I just love our country. It's very important to me. I love our country. I said, I don't know. What do you think? Should I give it a shot? This was before it was public. He was one of the first people I asked. I said, what do you think? You think I'd have a shot? If I get it, we're going to rebuild that military. It's going to be stronger than ever before. And he helped me form an opinion. He gave me a lot of information, and he has ever since. So for that, I want to thank you and Ellen, and I want to thank Patrick. I hope I got his name right. It's a long time ago, but I think his name was Patrick, right? Did I do good? But General Dunford also provided vital strategic direction to the campaign against ISIS in Iraq and Syria. With his help and the great courage of our warfighters, I'm proud to say that the ISIS territorial caliphate has been 100% completely obliterated. When we came to office, it was a mess. It was all over. Now we have thousands of captured ISIS fighters, and we have 100% of the caliphate. As chairman, Joe has also been a strong supporter and crucial advocate for creating the sixth branch of the U.S. Armed Forces, something that I'm really proud about, and something that when I make these big speeches in these massive arenas loaded up with people, thousands and thousands, it just about gets the #1 line of applause because I say we're creating the Space Force, and the place goes crazy. Great popularity because that's where it's going to be at more and more. General, your life exemplifies those words that beat in the heart of every Marine. Semper Fi. America salutes your incredible legacy of noble service. You've been exceptional. Thank you. Thank you very much, Joe. I think they like you, Joe. As one exceptional chairman departs, our nation gains another. Today, Mark Milley takes General Dunford's place as the highest-ranking member of the most skilled, determined, and powerful military ever assembled in human history. Mark has been preparing for his duty his entire life. Like Joe, he grew up in a family of patriots just outside of Boston. His dad was a Navy corpsman and tough as can be, they say. Was he that tough? No games? He didn't play games? He says no games. But his dad was a strong Navy corpsman, serving with the 4th Marine Division in World War II, a veteran of the assault landings in the Marshall Islands campaign, the Mariana Campaign, and in 2 Iwo Jima hits. During the war, Mark's mother also served at a Navy hospital in Seattle, treating wounded men from the Pacific. Inspired by their example, Mark chose the path of duty and the life of service. He could have done whatever he wanted. He was exceptional in every way. In 1980, he was commissioned into the Army and quickly joined the ranks of its finest soldiers. He graduated from the Army Ranger School and became a master parachutist and a Green Beret. In a long Army career, Mark deployed to Panama, Colombia, Korea, Somalia, Egypt, Haiti, Bosnia, Iraq, and Afghanistan, often seeing very, very close up the combat. He has not just served, but shown immense valor on nearly every continent. He is the recipient of the Distinguished Service Medal, 4 Bronze Stars, and the Legion of Merit, along with 2 awards of the Combat Infantry Badge. With degrees from Princeton, Columbia. Wow, I didn't know you were such a great academic. Wow, let me give you a little more. I'm impressed with that. That's very good. And the Naval War College, but I like you anyway. Mark is living proof that the American warfighter is the toughest, smartest, and bravest, best and brightest by far anywhere in the world. Following 4 deployments to Iraq and Afghanistan, he became the 39th Chief of Staff of the Army in 2015. Over the last several years, he has worked tirelessly to rebuild a depleted force into a fully manned, fully trained, and fully equipped Army prepared to achieve complete victory in the conflicts of tomorrow. And when we were determining where we were going to spend all of these billions of dollars that, like you've never seen, we haven't seen it in decades, I went with Mark, I sat with Mark, and I hope we spent it wisely, and I know we spent it wisely. $2.5 trillion. He built the Army Futures Command, and he created security force assistant brigades to reduce the need for large deployments. When Mark took over, only 2 brigade combat teams were at the highest levels of readiness. Today, that number stands at 28. An extraordinary turnaround and achievement. And I congratulate everybody here today. America's armed forces are more powerful than ever, and growing even stronger. We have the newest equipment, and we also have equipment that we keep under wraps that nobody's ever even heard of. We have weapons that we pray to God we never have to use. Our nuclear has been totally rebuilt, some brand new, and some refurbished. But we hope to God we never have to use any of our weapons, any of our weapons. In his new role as chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Milley will serve as my top military advisor. I have absolute confidence that he will fulfill his duty with the same brilliance and fortitude he has shown throughout his long and very distinguished career. From the great General Omar Bradley to the famed Joe Dunford, our nation has been blessed by the advice, counsel, and wisdom of 19 chairmen of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Today we pass the baton to the 20th. Together we vow to continue the righteous mission that has united every chairman and every patriot ever to wear the uniform and to defend our great American flag. We will keep America safe. We will keep America strong. And we will keep America proud so that our children and their children will forever and always be free. Thank you again, General Dunford, for the incredible job you've done. And to General Mark Milley, good luck, Godspeed, God bless you, God bless our military, and God bless America. Thank you all for being here. Thank you very much. It's a great honor. Thank you. Thank you.
Staff, attention! Honor guard! Attention!
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the center of the field. Captain Luis Avila, a U.S. soldier severely wounded by an IED explosion December 2011 in Afghanistan, uses music therapy as a critical component to his healing. Captain Avila will now join the Joint Service Quartet in singing God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her to the light with the light of her bone. From the mountains to the valleys to the ocean. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
All right, all you proud Americans, please join in singing with us a chorus of this great patriotic classic.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her to the light with the light from above. From the mountains to the valleys to the oceans, while the God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the playing of the songs of the armed forces. United States Coast Guard. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain at your seats until the departure of the official party.
She got a gun. She got a gun. Getting wet. How are you gonna get? I'm done. Put them fork in it.